So, Roger, we have discussed so far the attitude part of approaching things and the causes of lack of persistence. So let's now talk about how to be persistent and why we should be persisting in everything that we do.
Well, because if we don't, I'm afraid I mean, it's true not just for work or business, just for your life. Because, for example, let's say somebody, they want to find a partner, okay? And they think they're not successful with women, for example. And actually, by just saying that, I can think of somebody, I don't know him personally, it's true, another friend of mine, and he's like that. Is Scott mentioned it to me, and it's a shame. He always think his mindset is so ingrained in that, he's absolutely convinced that no woman whatsoever on this planet wants it.
Yes, that's very limiting belief.
Oh, very much so. It's extremely limited because, and I said to my friend Scott, I said, yeah, but is he ugly or something? Or is he just normal? No, he's just a normal guy, you know, fair size and whatever. And then, so there is no apparent reason why he shouldn't have a partner. But because he's so convinced in here, and he just drilled that in his head.
If you remember, John during our coaching session has always mentioned one thing, that if you are going to be persistent in grooving in your brain the limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
you will find difficult to get what you want because you are going the opposite direction, really.
Yeah, and then that guy is definitely going in the opposite direction because, and then even Scott tried to tell him, you know, tried to encourage him and all that.
Yes.
And he always, because it was so ingrained in here.
Exactly. Once we put that groove inside our brain, it's very hard to remove it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to remove it, which is a shame really, because I don't know him personally, but for what I have heard, he's a good guy.
Yes.
There is nothing wrong with him. Yeah, it's
well,
a
there
shame.
could be several factors.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know him, so I can't.
Yeah.
But there could be several factors. Yeah, absolutely. And then, yeah, fear or rejection. It could be, oh, why? What if she doesn't like me? Well, you'll know. You won't know until.
So you are actually giving us an example of persistence in the wrong direction.
Yeah, because he persists as not trying to get anybody. And
exactly.
if you are but there are so many websites now where you can meet somebody. So then at least you know people are going to be on the same wavelengths. Yeah.
Yes,
so
yes.
Harmony and the other type of website. So if you know,
absolutely.
And then well, if you don't like each other, you don't like each other, and then.
So let's talk about 4 steps to be persistent, to become persistent, okay? And the basic of that 4 steps is to find your purpose.
Well, yeah, true, because that's a good point, because if you don't have a purpose, it's difficult to be persistent in some.
Yeah, it's difficult to be anything, isn't it?
No, that's a good point. And if you don't mind, I'll go back to the YouTube idea. And I've noticed I've become consistent before Gwen passed away, and I'm still consistent. And I didn't realize I did a video just about, hang on, Gwen passed away on the 22nd, and I did a tribute video on the 27th.
That's right.
Yeah, and then when I look back, I say, bloody hell, how did you do that 5 days after? How did you manage to do that? And then I surprised myself that I did it 5 days after.
Yeah.
And the way I told myself, because Gwen wanted me to succeed or us to succeed, so I said, Gwen would have liked that anyway. We were supposed to do it together, so I do it by myself now. So that's how I motivated myself to do it 5 days after.
Exactly.
So when I look back, I was a bit smart with myself. I said, bloody hell, just 5 days after.
Yeah.
But it's good because in my mind, that's what I told myself. And then, but with regards to a purpose, I've noticed that I have creating myself a purpose with YouTube. I want to reach.
Yes, that's your purpose. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to reach an audience and I want to make people laugh. Uh, with the Natalie's project, which is the mission to change the narrative, we talked about for about half an hour today, and and how can I put it? And then we are going to create mini videos and different things. So there is a purpose there as well now. So
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
and then towards the project that she has in mind, and and that gave me a purpose too, because now I know
Fantastic.
I've got to, well, okay, and I said I want to improve my editing skills. Well, I've got two purposes for my for me and then for the group itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the same with me. My purpose is to help other people to grow their businesses, their personal life, change their lives. And my purpose is to actually leave a legacy behind so other people who are coming after me learn from my mistakes. Now, the second step of being persistent is
Yes.
to have a definite plan of action and what we want to achieve. So our goals, our objectives, we need to be able to know that we are heading at the direction that we have set out our GPS to.
Yeah.
So when you have a plan, you get motivated because you want to achieve it. So you are persisting in getting the steps necessary done to be able to achieve that goal, that destiny that you are wanting to reach.
Yes, absolutely. I see what you mean. Yes, and then the yeah. So the purpose. So my plan. I take you to begin. So it's like to do it week by week.
Consistently, yes.
Yeah. So that's the plan for that. With regard to Viva NK, I've got that group now going, and but I need to be a bit more persistent with it. In that, really, it doesn't take me long to put 10 products in it. So
It can take an hour a day. You can plan that in your day schedule.
absolutely. So I was going to say, uh, it could take me like 40 minutes, maybe to put,
Absolutely. So
yeah,
you can allocate 1 hour in your daily to-do list to do that.
yeah. And then last night I did a lot of work on John's website, the International Coaching Academy.
That's
Well,
brilliant.
I was glad it was working, so I just carried on and carried on. And it was getting to midnight, and I was carried on until 12:30 until I got really tired. So I went upstairs to bed, and then the public speaking. So I've rejoined. Well, I never left, but I didn't go. I've rejoined the Toastmasters. So I did. We had a really good Zoom last Tuesday. It was really well managed by. So I'm going to send a message to Barbara, see if she would like to come to yours tomorrow. I haven't mentioned it to her at all.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, third step, Roger.
So purpose, plan.
Yeah, and the third step is to lock out of your mind anything from third parties. So let's say your friend saying, "Oh, you shouldn't bother. Let's go and do something else instead," or a member of your family say, "No, Roger, that's not for you. You're not going to do it." Anything that will be trying to set you off the journey to your destination, you should lock your mind completely to it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, how do you call that? Have you got a word
You
for it?
can, well, well, the easiest way to say, ignore everything and everyone, stay focused on your objectives and your goals.
I mean, actually, that's a good example. That's a good thing because I'll stay focused. I mean, that's a good thing because I'll tell you why. A couple of examples, if I can put it that way. But, well, yeah, my dad is a bit pessimistic, and I am
Mhm.
I am the opposite, actually. But since he's learned that I am learning for myself, he's very pleased with that. Yeah. So I probably put a bit of optimism in his mind. Yeah, because he has a tendency to be quite pessimistic in a way. Miracle don't exist in this world and all that. Even though, and then he's probably right, but at the same time, he had a very good life. He had a very good career. So they're not millionaire, but they're quite well off. They have a very, they live very comfortably in their retirement age. And I'm sure most people would like the life they have now in their working
Yes,
life.
Korea, yes.
Yeah. And then, so what I do with that, I just, so rather than talking about every single thing I do, I just mention the main thing with my dad because I know he has a tendency of being pessimistic sometimes. So
Yes, yes.
so yes, yeah, that tendency. But I love my dad. I really love him, and my dad and my mom as well. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. They are your parents. You love them as they are, unconditionally,
Yeah.
and I think that's the best way to be.
And then that guy who was me on Zoom, uh, and actually we're talking about views and stuff like that. Yeah. And he's got very good knowledge about all this. The website and.
Fantastic, fantastic.
No, no. But what I like to say on this one is it's about mindset again. It could easily it'll be for him, it will be just a piece of cake because he got enough knowledge of programs and he can go into it even though he doesn't know them. A bit like Gillian did the other day, okay, with VideoPad. Okay? He could easily create a course about YouTube. And I said that to him. I said, and his first answer, guess what it was? I'm not going to tell him that, so this video is not going to be on my channel. But and his first answer was, it's difficult. But he's got enough skills and knowledge in all that to design it. Absolutely, no problem whatsoever. Because he showed me the photo editor, he showed me this, he showed me that and the other. And sometimes without knowing the program, it took him like it took Julian about a minute to work it out. Okay, I don't know it, hang on a minute. Click this, click that, the other. Blah, blah, that's it, and done. But he's got the knowledge. So between him and Gillian in America, is that both of them, they got similar knowledge. Because,
fantastic.
But Gillian has decided to apply it, but he hasn't.
Well, that's the difference. You see, that's the attitude, yes?
Yeah.
And from what we have said during this video throughout, the persistence and the attitude absolutely goes equal. Is absolutely necessary. They are very, very much connected skills and characteristics. Now, number 4, the 4th step to be persistent is to be able to find yourself couple of people. So if you don't need to have a team of people that will take you there and you want to stay on your own, but you need to have someone who will keep you accountable. So that could be your coach or mentor. Yeah. And you need to have another person which will keep you going, keep you motivated. So it is always a good, and this is something that I've learned from other very successful business people, is that do not take advice of too many people.
Oh yeah, that's good because
maximum 2 people in your circle who will keep you accountable, who will advise you and motivate you and inspire you to take action and be persistent.
Can I just say something on that? Because
please do.
When I was talking to Mick, and it was very interesting, and he's happy to help me because I could. Even Frankie asked me if he's charging me for a fee or something, and he could have done really. Because it's tremendous what he's telling me, but I've noticed his mindset is not quite what motivates me. I'm not going to tell him that because then I probably won't see him again. But
So you cut it out of this video.
Yeah. But what I want to say is this, right? So when I mention people who've got 65,000 subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't mentioned I have paid for Gideon because I can see I can see what's going to tell me. So I'm not telling him. There's no point in losing
This you
them
need to cut out of the video completely.
as well. Yeah, completely. Yeah. There'll be no video left. But what I've noticed when I said to him, you know, and then he noticed I am very keen on doing it. He noticed that. Yeah.
Yes, your passion, your determination, and your persistence is very visible. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he noticed that, and then so what did he say on that? Yeah. And because if I could give him a bit of my persistence, I mean, he had quite a successful channel in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he could have even done more because I could see the space in between his videos.
It could well be, Roger, that maybe his priorities have changed,
Oh, yeah, true. Well,
and
we
this
cannot
could
judge.
have caused the fact that he have neglected the channel and went into a different direction. That can happen. It depends how determined you are to achieve certain stages in your life, and it's all about persistence. It's all about attitude. It's all about what goals have you got set, what purpose you've got in life.
It's interesting what you're saying because I have a Zoom once a week with Natasha, but this time it's going to be on Monday morning, so I'm going to text her. And then she has a daughter. She's very persistent, that woman. If she could come to one of your meeting once, that would be quite good. She's very, very persistent, and she from homeless she became a surveyor. She's not teaching her. I've inspired her to do YouTube as well. So she's bought herself a camera. She's training herself with Adobe Pro or something. And then she has a daughter, and a daughter who's very good at drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, absolutely very good. And she sold a few of her drawings on Instagram. So she's got a bit like me, but in another area.
Yes.
And then her mom is just gobsmacked because her daughter just cannot be asked. But I said to Natasha, she's got it there. This is what Natasha said. All she has to do is to draw. And then for her, it's a piece of cake.
You see, it could have been. I've had a situation sometimes ago. I was doing series of workshops and in Hull, and I met there a young man. He was, I think, 18 or 19, and very low within himself, simply because his dream was to become an architect.
Oh, yes.
And whilst at school, he was told by his teacher that his drawings are useless and he will never be an architect and he should give drawing up. So the boy took that so much into himself,
Yeah.
that he stopped drawing, he stopped being interested in anything to do with art.
Right.
And yet at the same time, he was unhappy doing anything else. So his low esteem,
It's low self-esteem, yeah.
yeah, his lack of persistence, his lack of determination have left him totally with the attitude type of, why should I bother? Nobody's going to like it. I am no good. I cannot be architect. I just give up. So I said to him, I said, how do you feel about changing that? And he says, well, I would like to change, but I don't know how. So he spent 2 days with me on
Right.
the workshop,
Okay.
2 sessions. And at the end of the first session, he said, wow, I know where I have gone wrong. By the time the second session finished, he stood up in front of everyone and he says, I am now self-confident, and from today I am going back to my drawing because I want to be an architect.
And he did.
And he started a college last year,
Oh, yes.
and he is going to be an architect.
Oh, fantastic. You mean last year, 2019?
That's right, yes.
Oh, that's a fantastic result.
So I am so amazed and so pleased. There was a 16-year-old lady, young lady there, and the first evening, first session, she was like this, her head down. She didn't speak at all. She was just, her body language was telling me, I don't want to be here.
Yes.
Anyway, at the end of the evening, at the end of the session, she went home. And then the next day for the session in the morning, I always, because we were upstairs, so I stood at the top of the steps greeting the students coming in, and she was running up the stairs. Her face was enlightened, laughing, and she says, "Hello, how are you? I'm so glad to be here." And she was one of the first to come into the room, and then throughout the day, she was one of the most active people, taking part in every exercise, in every conversation, in every coaching session. And her mom who was also attending, she says to me, she says, do you know, she says, my daughter didn't want to go to bed. She was so excited. She was constantly talking about the evening, about the first session, and she couldn't wait to come to the second session. So that girl it was like dark room that suddenly become full of lights.
Right.
And totally different attitude, totally different approach. Amazing how you can see people when you hit the right string for them, they just go huge. Amazing.
I think you're right there. You're definitely right there, because how can I put it? It's like when, as you know, I didn't agree fully with the Speak Up Challenge ways of doing some of the stuff they did. However, it was probably like joining Toastmasters and going back to it now, and joining Speaker Challenge has really transformed the way I do my public speaking. And I want to carry on with that because I do really enjoy it. I do really enjoy it. And deep down, for a very, very long time, it's something I always wanted to do, but it was hidden somewhere down in my subconscious, because I remember going to different meetings.
Yes.
I remember going to different meetings and then seeing people on stage. I think once it was on one of the utility warehouse, big, I can't remember how they call them, those big meetings. One of the utility
You're talking about the MAD or the Express Day?
Oh yeah, there was Express Day, that's right, and there was something else.
Kickoff?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but they show a guy on stage, but on the video, because he passed of cancer. You may have known, or you may know who it is, a black guy, and he was going across the stage, jumping about, and I couldn't believe his enthusiasm.
Yes.
It was absolutely electric.
That's the power of personal development. You are just flying, your feet are off the ground.
Yeah, and then I was in the middle of probably at least 1,000 people there, and I was just looking at that from where I was, and my sponsor was there, Sarah Amadi, but she now lives in another country and doing another network marketing business, and she's very good at what she's doing. Anyway, to come back to my example, I was looking at him. I said, I'd like to be there. And when I go to my own kickoff Buddhist meeting, the lay organization, yeah. And then there are quite a few people who are on stage just to open the meeting, just to introduce this and that and the other, you know, very well organized day and very uplifting as well. And I was looking at those people, same thing, I just want to be there. And this is when I gave an experience when Frankie was sat next to me. And then while I sat in shaking, so I thought I'll crack a joke here. Can I have a glass of, can I have some, what was it? Some whiskey or something. Yeah. And it worked. Anyway, but what I'm saying is, from being shy to
yes, to being a very open person, and I think in many ways you are now a very extrovert person.
Yeah, probably the opposite now. And then, but
Yeah.
if I had stayed in France, I'm not saying that would have been a bad choice. But if I had stayed in France, more than likely I would have stayed in the job where I was, because the people of my generation, they managed to keep that all their life. Yeah. And the pension would have been pretty good, pretty comfortable. Yeah. But I know for a fact, if I had followed that road and not trying to develop myself, even though my financial future from now until the rest of my life would have been secure, I probably would have been very unhappy, because I know deep down there was a lot of things I would have liked to do, but I didn't.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, Roger, I'm very grateful for you to share your thoughts with me on the persistence and the attitude topic. And I like to finish our conversation with repeating the thing that I have said at the beginning. Persistence is a state of mind. Therefore, change your attitude if it is in the wrong direction, and be persistent, because persistence will take you right up to the sky. If you are persistent and have the right attitude, you can achieve anything.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, you have to yes, and then say, right, yes, I can do this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I can do that. It's like the videos. At the moment, I am aware that I am not yet the wizard of editing. Okay.
But you will be very shortly.
But I will be very shortly. But the point is, I have a choice here. I could decide, oh bloody hell, that's going to take me forever to become.
Exactly. You could give up.
Oh, it's going to take me 12 months. This.
Mm-hmm.
And I could easily give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I'm not going to do that. And then it's like when I was doing the speaker challenge. That's another example. From moving from speech number 1 to the actually speech number 2. It took me ages.
Yeah.
It took me ages and ages. And it's only when I was reading the book from Dale Carnegie, and I was with all the accumulated knowledge from before, plus his book, and I was sat in a cafe, of course, I remember that. And then it was about 5 days before speech number 2, and I didn't even actually practice it in one of the master classes. And oh yeah, I can do it that way. Yeah, but you know, and I did, and then it worked. And I remember for speech number 1, when I was going to your house, probably it's a good job it did postpone for a week. And I think the day, about 2 days before, if I remember, yeah, you helped me achieve that goal of speech number 1. Yeah. And,
wonderful, Roger. So thank you again, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. Yeah, fantastic. So I'll see you tomorrow at 4.
See you tomorrow at 4.
Oh, by the way, God, before you go, do you want my address?
If you can message to me, please.
Yeah, we do that. I'm looking forward.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
And you. Bye-bye.